Good morning. It's Monday, about 6:57, a little shy of 7 o'clock. It is Joliet week, so we get to go racing Friday and Saturday. Got to get cracking this morning though. We've got a septic system that I've been one-manning, and I need to get that finished up so that we can take off and go do the fun stuff later this week.
Making his way toward the speedway now from Colorado Springs, Colorado, in the Lamb Excavating, Dirt Perfect, Diamond Equipment, Skills USA, Ground to Glory number 77. It's Jeff Dodge. Jeff Dodge in car number 77.
Well, we're getting a little bit of a decent sunrise. Kind of a cloudy day today. All right, we're here on site. Got the machines warming up. Concrete guys are working on a driveway over there. I got my laser set up with a 0.1% slope that way. Machines are warming up, so we put this septic field in a while ago, working on the perimeter drain. We got to finish this run. We got to come all the way down this backside here. There's our field. It's a 4-trench chamber field. There's the end of a chamber. We got to put this run of drain in over here. Last week I got this other chunk done, but that's what we're working on today. I want to get the rest of this drain in, and then I've got my sump discharge stubbed up here, and it comes out of the house right over there. So my tank is coming in and going to be set here, and I'd like to get my sump in before we set the tank because I got a little bit more room. Tank comes tomorrow morning, so got to get cracking, and hopefully we'll have a good productive day today. We got our first leg done, working on, or our first short leg done, working on my second short leg, and we'll get the Trimble rolling here momentarily. Start yelling at me about, oh, you need to grease your machine. It was greased Friday afternoon, and the creakiness is unfortunately the pins on the bucket in the quick coupler. I am driven as crazy by that as you all probably are. I kind of wonder if I hit them with like some dry graphite or something, if it would quit creaking, but not be something that was going to just get super nasty. If anybody has any tricks for fixing creaky quick coupler pins, I would love to know in the comments. This here will be the low corner of the drain. This is some kind of nasty wet mud, and then we'll probably hit some sand underneath here as we get down to grade, but we shall see. I definitely did over on the other side. Pipe coming out. Chilly day today. Definitely feels a little more like fall. Kind of hot lately, and now she's getting chillier. I'll probably cut a old field tile here momentarily. So what I like to do on these edges is I like to rake them down a little bit. Keeps your edge clean, but it also makes room for your fabric to sit in nice, so that when you're backfilling you don't get all wound up in your fabric, because that's a mess. Box up because we still got to tie into that after we get our tank set tomorrow. It looks like we're getting down to sandier material here momentarily. Ourselves, catch a laser strike. Alright, now we can move around freely and get back on grade. probably a good thing we're here though, because otherwise they'd probably be stealing our rock. Definitely have had that happen before. Make a little room for myself here. Dump truck guy got the pile of rock a little on the close side, but it's all got to go in the hole anyway, so do a little rocking before the end here. I started to talk about it a minute ago, but High Limits finished their season down in Texas this weekend, and you know, I think a lot of people are talking about it and what's going to happen going forward. I guess we didn't run any High Limits races. Unfortunately, they all got hurricaned out. A little late getting started this year, but it seemed like it was a pretty good deal, and I definitely applaud what the High Limit Series is doing as far as, you know, trying to give owners and drivers more opportunities to race for big money. I think as long as there's two interested streaming platforms, i.e. Flow and Dirt Vision, there's probably room for both. Obviously Dirt Vision's owned by the World of Outlaws, so I don't really foresee them losing interest anytime soon. And as long as Flow is around and wants to be doing the High Limit thing, like, I guess I think they're invested in the High program, so that means they're probably going to stick around. But yeah, I mean, as long as there's two streaming services that are one dedicated to each major series, like, there's probably room for both of them to coexist. And while they coexist, and I think that's just good for racers and race fans, like, you still get all the big names at the biggest races, and I think there's enough big names on both sides to make regular races interesting. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for the fans. Like, gonna have more tracks that can get top flight sprint car, 410 sprint car race. Like, I think all in all, like, it's a good deal all the way around. So I hope they both keep going. I hope that we get to run some high limit stuff in the future. I think that their concept with the charters is pretty interesting. I don't know that anybody knows what it's going to mean yet, but if those prove to be valuable, like, it definitely helps justify an owner investing in the series, in talent. I think we've seen with the charters for IndyCar and like what's happened since they got their charter program put together. You know, we've seen new money come into that, so I think that the charter idea is probably good for sprint car racing. So, you know, I love sprint car racing, and want to see anything that helps grow the sport and grow its value. You know, because we definitely want to build partnerships with companies that are related to the skilled trades in various different trades. Obviously, heavy equipment and excavating is close to our heart because Lamb Excavating is in that space, but I think being that we're into racing as well, like automotive companies, really anybody that feels or sells into a skilled trade, I think needs to be investing somewhere in trying to generate the next, or help inspire the next generation of tradespeople, so that there's a healthy industry and healthy companies for them to do business with. And you know, that's one thing that we're trying to do with our race program, is be an example of somebody that is trying to inspire that next generation to give a serious look to the trades. And so, you know, while I would love to say come invest with us, I think on a whole companies need to be investing somewhere, whether it's with us or with somebody else, but we got to be doing something to grow that next generation. So I think the high limits and the outlaws, definitely there's space for both to exist. I like the way they run their programs. They seem to be run pretty efficiently. And you know, I think there's room for both series, at least as long as there's two streaming platforms. And it'd be interesting to see if the charter system is successful, you know, what the Outlaws have to implement as far as sharing some of the Dirt Vision revenue with their teams, because I would suspect that if the charters prove successful and prove valuable, the Outlaws would We're back at the shop, getting ready for Joliet. Man, it was a hump this week getting that septic system knocked out by myself. I didn't do a whole lot more videoing, haven't really had a chance to work on the race car any. But it's a beautiful fall day and we're making some final preparations. Got to change batteries in our ignition or our tacks, and thought I'd show you our ignition plates. So all of our electronic stuff for the ignition mounts on a single plate that comes out of the car pretty darn easy. So a couple of plugs and a coil wire, 2 Zeus's, and basically everything for ignition or electronics comes out. We got our switch, tack, spark box. So got to change our batteries in these tacks, and I've got a couple new batteries here and our spare ignition plate. So we're going to get these changed out quick. Pretty nasty environment, I guess, these things live in, because it feels like the batteries are always leaking in there. Oh, just took a little brake clean to the eyeball. Tack back up. Fresh date for the battery. I'll do the other one now and we'll get started on the next thing. Next thing on the list is to change our injector nozzles back over to the bullet nozzles. These are the fuel injector nozzles here. Fuel runs down through these lines. We have 16 nozzle ports on this injection setup. These are all capped, the up nozzles are, so no fuel gets injected up here. It all goes down here right in the cylinder head on top of the intake valve, and I'll show you the difference between the two different nozzles here in just a second. So this is kind of your standard nozzle. You got a screen in the top. You got this vent that lets air come in. And then you've got a screen in the bottom. And this nozzle kind of makes it run better on and off the throttle. But it makes a little bit less high-end power than this nozzle. So they call these bullets, there's different kinds of bullets. Some are cut off like right there, but ultimately you got no screen in the end. You still have a screen in the top, you still have air coming in the side. So these things, when it's wide open and just really screaming, make a little bit more top end power. I personally like the way the engine runs with the standard nozzle better, but qualifying is so important with the Outlaws that we're going to go ahead and put the bullets back in, at least for qualifying. And we may switch back to the standard nozzle as the track starts to go away, if it's not like a hooked up wide open type of deal. So we'll get these nozzles changed and keep getting ready for tomorrow night at Joliet. I am looking forward to getting back in the race car, that is for sure. So we got our bullets in. I torque them to 120 inch-pounds or 10 foot-pounds. And you want to make sure you don't over tighten your nozzles, because you'll stretch out those little air holes, and that's no bueno. Reconnect our injector lines here, our nozzle lines.